What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Craving Wild podcast episode. This week we have on Caleb Stillians, and if you don't know who Caleb is, he's an absolute savage of a human being. He's a guide up in Alaska, chasing around some of the most dangerous things you can potentially chase around in North America, and he's extremely successful at it. He's also a young dude, so he's still learning, which is a scary thing for the animals up there because he's already well known for getting it done. And there's no quitting him whatsoever. So, we cover his stories. We cover that no quit mentality and, keeping a positive mindset and just keep plugging along on whatever your goals are. It doesn't have to be hunting, fishing, whatever. Just any goal you have, just keep plugging away at it and you'll get there eventually. So with that being said, we'll jump into this week's episode. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy.
The newest one with like a few caribou and then a grizzly bear.
Yeah, that's the one.
That was a fun hunt.
Oh, I bet it
So-
looked like fun.
When, what time of the year do those hunts take place?
So those hunts, so it's by region because Alaska is so freaking huge that each region is different. So that was up above the Arctic Circle, about 200 miles. So the winter comes in super fast, so you need to be out of there by very end of September. If you stay up past September, all the daylight pretty much goes away, and it turns into like this winter. Like it's just so cold and snow comes in. So that hunt was August 22nd through the 31st, I believe.
Wow, that's crazy that it's like for us. Where are you from, Caleb?
A mix. So I'm from was born in Kansas City, Missouri. At age 2, we moved up to a small town in Alaska called Glen Allen. And then at age 8, we moved back to Missouri. And I'm this 8-year-old rambunctious kid saying, hey, I don't like this. There's barbed wire fences everywhere. Like the biggest public land's like 4,000 acres. I can't even walk very far. I'm like,
Yeah.
So as soon as I got done with high school, I went back up to Alaska and started chasing them bears.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
what made you get into the bears?
I just wanted to go up there and hunt, and I just got a job for a guy. Actually, was working for free as an apprentice, and he did bear, mountain goat, and moose. So I got a lot of experience in bears. He didn't do that many moose, and I got a lot of experience in goats. And that was when I was 18, 19, and then from there I just kind of started hunting everything and expanded out to now I do Dall sheep, caribou, moose, bears, pretty much everything but muskox up in Alaska.
Is there any reason why you don't do muskox?
So there's only a few tags that you can even get drawn, and even sometimes they don't issue those. It's a population deal.
So
there's
it's
this,
okay. They're very sensitive with their allotments there.
yeah, there's just not a ton of them, which is unfortunate. There's some. It's cool to fly over them and see them. Like they're really cool animals. But if someone wanted to hunt muskox, it's kind of like Greenland up by Canada.
Interesting.
Seems to be the move.
Oh, okay. I've eaten muskox before. It was delicious from what I remember.
Yeah, they really good. It's I don't know how to describe it, but I would say similar to a bison, right? Is that your experience?
Yeah. So we had it as it was like a pot roast. So it was very similar to like if you did like a bison pot roast.
Yeah, they're good animals. Like most game animals are awesome. I always think when I'm out there because that's where like the woolly mammoths would have been hanging out at back in the
Interesting.
day, and like the big short-faced bears. Like I'm out there and like we were finding tusk, not all the time, but sometimes up there in the riverbanks.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm sitting there hunting. I'm like, can you imagine being back in the day, like just having a stick and a spear, and it's like you're chasing down a woolly mammoth and trying
Yeah.
to poke them? Like I get all excited about that, and like you run across a 16-foot short-faced bear, and now you're trying to fight off this huge bear that's bigger than any bear that's alive right now. It's like it's nuts.
I like that you say poke at it.
Yeah. You're just trying to kill it, hopefully before it eats you up. It's like, yeah.
So did you
that
keep?
would be a game.
Yeah. Did you keep any of those woolly mammoth tuffs that you find, or you're not allowed to keep any of those?
No, you can keep them if you find them.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Cool. That takes like shed
Yeah, some
hunting to
guys
a new
have a.
level. Go ahead, bud.
Say it again.
I'll say that just takes shed hunting to a new level almost.
Some guys go after it really hard. Like after like spring happens, breakup, where the river gets real high and washes off like spots of the bank. That's when guys will go out and like fly their airplanes low, drop flaps, go slow, and try to spot them from the air, and then
That's
find a place
insane.
to land and dig them out.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Getting back to
Yeah.
the August hunting, like it's crazy as an Easterner to think that you're hunting in August and like
Yeah.
you got to be done by like September pretty much. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was up hunting in the September, and it's getting cold. I got stuck in a snowstorm or two, and it's just like you're sitting there and you're like, crap. I hope because at a certain point there's this awkward in between stage where if it snows, the planes can't get in there to get you on wheels because it'll slide, but the snow's not deep enough for planes to come in on skis.
Oh
So it's
shit.
like you just kind of stuck out there. So sometimes when you're getting stuck in a snowstorm, you're like, I hope this melts off or this snow's a shit ton. If not, I'm just screwed.
Hopefully you don't get that in between snow.
Exactly. So you're really just hoping it stops and melts off because if you get buried in snow, that's gonna suck too.
That's not. Is there crazy like temperature swings that time of the year up there?
Um, kind of, but not nothing like not manageable. So it's more of like how fast it changes. So like in the beginning of the season in August, it's pretty toasty. You have nonstop daylight, like 24 hours daylight. Like you can hunt 24/7. And then a month later, you have like 10 hours of daylight. It's getting down to, I don't know, sometimes 18 degrees in that range. Um, so it's like it went from 70s to nonstop daylight to 18 degrees, and like you have not that much daylight in a month. Like it swings really fast.
So you I kind of like blacked out a little bit when you said you hunt for 24. You can hunt 24 hours a day.
Because it's daylight the
Oh
whole
yeah,
How
yeah.
like how do you manage that as a guide? Like how do you manage when to go, when not to go, when to sleep, when to eat? Like how's that work?
You just go off feeling. It's fun. It's just like you sleep when you want to sleep, you eat when you want to eat, and you kill when you want to kill. It's just like I'm feeling tired. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the day. You go take yourself a nap, and then it doesn't matter. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We're up hiking and glassing and trying to get something. It's just like at that point you shift over to all gut feeling, like what feels right in this moment,
That's
and
great.
it's pretty fun.
So okay. Let me how do I even trying to come up with a question here, but so here in where we are, you try to hunt the first hours of the morning because they're the the good ones, or the last hours of the day. How do you measure that over there when it's 24 hours? Is there a period where you're like, well, the sun is not, how do you even, is it just gut feeling like you just said, or is there like,
Yeah, I mean, most like as in principle. So if we're talking about the 24 hours a day, there's still like like the very evening and the very morning, like when the
mm,
sun's not actually fully up, like it's running its rotation.
yeah,
And on principle, those are always the highest likelihood of activity.
okay,
That being said, it's I've got a lot of really big animals in the middle of the day, like even when there is a day and night. So it's like what I tell people is like just like I don't understand the concept of hunting mornings and evenings. For me, this is the way I'm wired. If I go out, I'm hunting
yeah,
from sun up to dark. Like get out before and then come in after, because there's so much action that happens in between stages that you miss
mm-hmm.
in the middle of the day, and sometimes that might be when the big animal is moving at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when everything else is not. Sometimes.
Interesting. Man, that's awesome. Because here you have to be very careful with, like, well, I'm asking, I'm telling you, like, you don't know, but like, in the East Coast, at least in the deer, like if you hunt like an early, like mid September when it's hot as hell, like you don't want to be in at noon hunting because there's mosquitoes. That's about it. So
Mm.
uh, I'm guessing it's probably awesome too that you could see from miles and miles away, and you can like make a plan on a D or like on any game to hunt it. So uh, it's I don't know, man.
It's wild to
It's
wrap your
mind
head
blowing.
around.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is.
It's an awesome thing that you can do, in Alaska and in places like that.
Yeah, the spot and stock's definitely I enjoy spot and stock a lot. Like I also enjoy like stand hunting, but the spot and stock is fun because if you're not feeling like a good gut and like feeling in this area, you move to another area, and then when you finally find the animal you want to shoot, then it's like cat and mouse of
Mm,
it's moving, you're moving. So it's just a little bit different. It's not that it's any cooler or not cooler than stand hunting. It's all about finding like different strokes for different folks. You got to find what you like and
yeah,
then go after it. I just like spot and stalking the best.
yeah. I like spot and stalking the best too. With the little experience of it that I have. But it's hard where we live to do that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're walking on Dorito bags all day
Yeah,
It's so
with all the
true.
yeah. No,
leaves.
I think
on the East Coast, when I've tried spot and stalking, what I'll do is I'll find like the thickest, nastiest shit in the middle of the day, and get the wind in my face, like where I think the deer are gonna be bedded down. And chances are this is not how you're gonna kill the biggest buck. So someone that's listening, this is just what I do to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
You'll get down and like like how a wrestler shoots, and he goes down on one knee and then kind of shoots through and drags his other leg through.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You do that like in slow motion, and you as low as you can. You're on the game path and you're moving so slow, but you're just looking to try to spot the deer before it spots you, or one will run down the path and you can bust that way. I've killed nothing like huge, but I've killed a couple bucks doing it that way, and
So
it's
the
been fun.
nastiest thing you can find.
and just kind of
Yeah,
ninja your way
just
through
stick
it.
where you think it. Exactly, yeah. You just find like the thickest shit where you think they bedded up, and get the wind in your face, obviously, because if the wind's at your back, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how quiet you are, and just go creeping and just go as slow as you can and just try to spot them. It's funny. The last time I did that was I need to do it again because it's been a couple years. I was those like Mexican hoodies with that are like super soft and they like different like colors.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like you don't even have to be in camo. I was wearing that and shot a pretty nice buck and was just creeping through.
That's
No
awesome.
shit. Not to change the
Yeah.
subject, but we got some of your videos playing in the background while we're talking to you, and right now a video popped up of a bear. I don't know. Looks like it's all of about 15 yards from you in your tent eating something.
Yeah, no, that bastard came in the camp, so I'm making coffee, and I hear something like out there like 2 yards from my tent, so I yell at the guy that's hunting. His name's Michael. I'm like, Michael, I got the coffee in here, and then I hear him answer, and he's like inside his tent. So I'm like, crap,
Oh no.
that's not Michael. I unzip my tent, I have my gun, and I poke my head out, and that me and that bear makes eye contact at literally about 3 feet. And he's just looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, yeah, he was trying to steal like where we were hunting at. There's not big trees. It's all wind blown, so you kind of gotta you put your food in a place where if they come in to get it, you can hear them, but they also not gonna have to go through you. So that it's
Mm.
that you keep it close enough where you can protect it if a bear comes after it, but not close enough where they're gonna be climbing in the tent with you. So I the bear was more of a curious bear, and I was more stubborn, so I ended up chasing it off with a stick. So yeah.
That's awesome.
What like generally when you run into bears like that, are they pretty afraid of you guys up there, or is it kind of hairy and you don't? It's like situation to situation.
Yeah, so it's the latter. So bears are just like people. Some are gonna be curious, some are gonna be scared and run away, and some are just gonna be looking for a fight and pissy. So it's just you just got to see what one you get depending on it. It's pretty. You just kind of judge them off their body language,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
I guess you would just assume that they're all pissed off and want to fight and go from there.
Yeah, no, you got to give them respect because I mean they're big animals. It doesn't take them very long to mess you up. So it's just like you gotta. Like I don't go anywhere without my gun, whether it's 2 yards from the tent to take a piss. It's like I have that
Yeah.
rifle with me all the time,
What kind?
because it just takes that one time and it's done.
Right. Yeah. Totally. I don't blame you. I'd have 2 guns. Speaking of that, what kind of guns do you run up there?
I got a mix of things. So like I have a 375. I have a 300 Win Mag. I'm about to get a 300 PRC built. So just a mixture of things depending on what hunt I'm doing and when. And then I have a Glock that I have. It's a 10 millimeter, and I carry it in a Gunfighters Inc. Kenai. So it's always on my chest. So if worst case scenario, a bear did get on top of me and my rifle was out, or when because when a bear charges you, like it's not like in the movies where they stand up. It's like the head down. They run as fast as they can. They're gonna run through you the first time, so knock you off your feet. And sometimes what will happen is when that happens, guys will go flying and they'll let go of their rifle because it's just I mean it's like getting hit by like 4 linebackers at the same time running 35 miles an hour. So they just let go of their rifle and they get hit, and then the bear maws them, and the rifle's like 20 feet away because they let go. So if that does happen, I have my handgun to hopefully continue the fight with.
What ammo did you find shoots the best out of your Glock? Is it a Glock 20?
Yeah, it's a Glock 20. I'm shooting the Buffalo Bulls out of them.
Okay.
I think it's the 200 grain. And I don't remember the feet per second, but there's a couple good ammo makers. You want a hard cast bullet. That's the main thing. A good hard cast bullet that cycles well in your gun is what you want.
Can you explain a little bit like what hard cast is and why that's the route you should go?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're gonna have 3 different types of bullets. You're gonna have hollow points, you're gonna have full metal jackets, and you're gonna have a hard cast. Hollow point is what, if you have a CCW, a concealed carry, that's what you should be running in your firearm. The reason why is it's gonna open up and it's most of the time going to stop in the target that you shoot with. So if you have to defend yourself against a human being, you pull the trigger, that bullet is hopefully going to stop in that target, because you're liable for anybody standing behind that person. And then all the energy is transferred into that target. Full metal jacket is a harder bullet. It's a metal jacket, as it says in the name. A lot of times that's what you use for like target practice. It's a cheaper ammo. And then hard cast is it's solid lead, right? So it's casted. It's not jacketed. So a jacket is like it's wrapped around a piece, where a hard cast is. That's all it is a huge piece of solid lead. So when you shoot, that's gonna it's gonna hit. So it's gonna penetrate better. And I think so that's that. You want the penetration on a barrel. So if you shoot it in the head, a full metal jacket might not penetrate the skull. Probably will, but might not. Hollow point again might, but might not. Well, that hard cast is gonna penetrate better.
Right. Me and Dan run Glove 20s over here too. We don't have grizzlies, but we got big black bears. we don't like them that much.
No.
Well, you know the saying, if it's black, you fight back.
Yeah.
If it's brown, you play dead, and if it's white, you just kind of fight.
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, we run the what's it called, the Glock 20. We have what's it called, cherry coated
Underwood.
Underwood. Yeah,
Underwood,
that's what we have. And they shoot pretty good, but it's hard cast, the whole thing.
Yeah,
the same thing.
The 200 grain shoot pretty good. The 220s not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they kick too hard, or does it not cycle well?
They're very inconsistent past 15 yards, 10, 15 yards.
They start to tumble too. They don't fly straight.
Yeah, that's a big bullet, and that's not a ton of gunpowder to make that fly in that 10 millimeter.
Yeah. Maybe with like the Glock 40 with the longer barrel, maybe that might help control it a little bit better. I don't know, but that's a big gun to be carrying around.
Yeah.
Your chest harness.
Yeah, it is.
What is that? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's a Gunfighters Inc. That the people at that company are phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about them and their product. It's Kydex. Your gun slides in. You send them a photo of it. They have all the prints and all that made up, and then they make you a holster. So it's just a chest rig. So two straps over your left shoulder, and one comes around your right side, and it clips in. And then if you run an albino harness, you can just flop it there on top of it,
Oh, that's awesome.
and it looks really good. So
Ooh, I might have
yeah,
to
if
look
you don't
into
have
that.
one, I would go get one. Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're like $140, and it makes it easy to carry it around
you know,
anywhere.
yeah, that's not too bad. It's been so hard to find. We've ran, I don't even know, 4 or 5 different kind of vinyl harnesses, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you can always buy the attachment, but then your harness is like leaning to a side, and
Yeah.
it's just not protected very good. It's just a nightmare trying to get one to work, and I'm actually very happy you brought that up because I'm gonna look into those.
Yeah, I'll send you a video on how I have mine set up. I run the strap of the bino harness underneath, so it kind of locks them in place. Why I have them separate is because now if you got your animal on the ground and you're walking on it, and you have your gun and your bino harness together, then you have a lot of weight there.
Uh-huh.
But if the animal is dead in front of you, you don't really need your glass on you. So I'll take my bino harness off
Hmm.
and still have that gun. So if a bear does come up, my gun's still there, but I don't have the extra, however many pounds of my bino harness attached there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
That's
total
awesome.
sense.
Yeah, because that's when it happens. That's when it happens. Like every time I'm like, oh shit, there's a bear that has startled me. Is when I'm sitting there walking on a moose. Next thing I know, I hear a woof, and there's a bear running at me at 20 yards. It wants to take the moose away, and you're like, oh shit. So
Keep the
yeah,
moose,
that's
buddy.
why I do it that way. Yeah, exactly. Let's have a showdown. I'll be your huckleberry.
Yeah. That's a good quote. That's awesome, man. I enjoy I what you do is a dream for a lot of people. Going out west in Alaska and all this amazing country that you experience. Is there a way that you can, like how would you help somebody that's never been to Alaska? How do you help them to try to get their first hunt over there, guided or not guided?
Yeah, so actually, I started a whole business off of this because it's called
Yeah,
Outfitter.Services. It's like an Airbnb for hunting and fishing, and like that is what it came from. Is I would hear so many people asking me, well, how do I get started? Can you take me X, Y, and Z? And unfortunately, is just I only have limited time, so I can't I can't help everyone. So
yeah,
it's like I need to build something that can help people without me actually having to physically be there or text everyone. I just can't keep up with it all. So it's like you can
yeah,
go on there and you can look what animal you want to hunt, where at you want to hunt. And if you someone that wants to become a guide, it's a process, but you'll go talk to an outfitter and he'll hire you as an apprentice, and then it depends on how fast you learn the different skills. It could take it could be done in a year, or it could be done in a few
mm,
years, depending on how fast and how much time. And then from there, you would go get your guide's license from the state, and that outfitter would sign up on it. So if you're looking for someone to go out and start hunting, go to Outfitter.Services. There's a ton of hunts on there. You can sort through and what fits best to you. If you can't get it like today, because let's face it, some of these hunts are expensive, you can add it to your bucket list and just have it there so you can keep track of it and start saving up and just yeah, that's honestly that's something I hear a lot is people saying, I wish I could do that, I just can't afford that. It's
yeah,
like if that's what you believe, you definitely won't. You've got to prioritize things. I mean,
yeah,
I'm lucky. I don't have kids. I don't have that responsibility. So, but for guys that do have that, I know that's something that I honestly can't understand. But like, don't write yourself off from doing it. Just like start saving up, put the money in a piggy bank, put the money somewhere, and start the acorn that away. And then you know anything's possible if you believe it can happen.
yeah. No, I 100% agree. we've been looking through the website, and there's a ton of hunts there. I'm like, God damn it, I want that one, and I want that one. My bucket list will be full, pretty much. What would happen on that
For
website?
sure. If you're listening to this, take some time and go. What's the website? What's the .com, Caleb?
Yeah, so if you go to Outfitter.Services and just put that in there, it'll pop up, or Outfitter.Services.com. Both of them will pull it up. And go in there, create yourself an account, check out the hunts, add them to your bucket list. We have some really cool tools coming out soon to help people, like, save up budget for those hunts. So we're gonna keep working hard to fix some of the problems and help as many people as possible in the industry accomplish their dreams.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
'cause,
cool, man. That's
yeah,
such a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I'm like, my goal is just to try to take away the barriers from people actually making their dreams happen. I guess would
yeah,
be a good way to put it.
And I guess you're the guy that would know that because you're with these people, so you're going to hear all the problems firsthand, and just, I guess you could, as tally them up in your head, like, oh, there's 75% of the people that I talk to are saying that this is something that they could probably never afford. Well, how can we solve that issue? And that's
Oh, 100%. I have like, if you combine the time, like I came up with this idea like 4.5 years ago. If you can combine that to like how much I've spent out guiding, I have like 2.5 years of sitting on the side of the mountain hunting, thinking about this idea. So I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, getting feedback. So it's been fun to sit there and like stew on this on the side of the mountain while I was hunting.
yeah. That's awesome.
yeah, it's sweet to see it starting to snowball now for you, and
Yeah,
starting to come true.
Oh yeah, no, it's like anything in life, whether it's you starting a business or wanting to go on a dream hunt or anything. It's just about like staying with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take a while. I know Instagram and everything else wants to push over the overnight success, but
yeah,
for my experience and all the people that I know that have done really well in their life, it's a grind. Like it not that, like, I think, and I think another thing is that we gotta like flip it in our minds. Is everyone's like, it's a grind, it's gonna suck. Is that you gotta flip it to like, well, it doesn't suck. It's like, this is what I want. These things that I have to do is a piece of that. Therefore, I enjoy this. It's like you gotta change that framing, and then you just go through it and make things happen, I think.
Mm. That's
yeah,
one thing I like about you, Caleb. Like, I watched pretty much all of your videos and your previous season, and throughout the videos this is on YouTube, for the people listening. You have like these moments where you give like these like short motivational type speeches. Is that something that you just come up with on the mountain, like you're just thinking about it, or are you getting them from, like, how do you come about to come up with those type motivational type quotes or sayings?
Yeah, so when I'm like, the ones that are in the video are just like when I'm on the mountain, we're just talking about hunting. And then where they kind of came about, uh, I don't know. I think if you put yourself in crazy situations, you start to think deeply. So like when I started this whole thing at 18, 19, there was like several different times that I almost died during that time, and it's like you start to like flip your script a little bit, and you start viewing things differently, I think, when stuff like that happens. And then about age 23, I started reading a lot, like Jordan Peterson, Nietzsche, Alexander, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Viktor Frankl. So it was kind of fun, like to have these thoughts from like life experience of, oh shit, I just about kicked the bucket there, that could have went either way, and then processing that, and then going from that, and then studying like different wise men from the past. Like another one would be Marcus Aurelius, and it's kind of cool to see that those people came to the same conclusions. So I think life, when it's a struggle and when you got time to unplug and like get away from Netflix, get away from that, I think the man's brain drifts towards what we should do, what we know we should do, because I don't think anybody has a problem actually knowing what they should do. It's actually, do they go do it?
Yeah.
And I think we all know what we should do, and we have that inside of us. And then being able to articulate that, uh, some of that came from my own thoughts, and some of that came from studying it from other people. Being able to like put the feelings and the emotion I had into words. So.
When you're when you're on in Alaska in the mountains for how long are you on in Alaska for at any particular time, like during the season, the hunting season?
Yeah, so hunting season will you go from April, and then it kind of wraps up in May. I used to go ahead and hunt in June, so it used to be April, May, June, and then August, September, October, November, and then part of December. So you're looking about 7 months hunting a year typically.
Wow. And in we'll just say the fall, for instance, do you stay out there in the bush the whole time and they just keep cycling in different clients, or are you like there for two clients and then they pick you up and then you go to another area or a different, maybe a hunt for a different species? Like how does that really work for you?
Yeah, so it depends on like the season and like how it's structured. So like let's just use this past fall that you watched that one video from. Is I would go out and I guided Glenn for Dall sheep hunt. We killed a Dall sheep, two caribou. His hunt was over. He flew out. I went back for a day, and when I say back, it's not back to town. It's this cabin that's 150 miles from the nearest road. Everything's flown in. It's a really cool environment and setting. So went back for a half a day, repacked camp. Was getting flown out to a new hunting location. The fog was too low, so I just got dropped off at some random gravel ball. So then camped the night at that random gravel ball. Got flown the rest of the way up the next day. And then that caribou hunt you watched. Then the people flew in later that day, and then we started hunting. And then after that, came back. They went back, took the next guy out that at that point the camo guy got sent home. He was just sometimes you hire the wrong people. Sometimes I would just say that. And so went out on the next hunt, and then got a grizzly bear and a caribou. Came back, and then I went out hunting again. So it was about, I think it was 55 days of more or less straight hunting, just back and forth.
So during that 50, sorry Antonio, like during those 55 days, I'm sure you're gonna have moments where you're just like mentally drained and you might thinking about quitting. Obviously, that's not an option for you as you're guiding somebody. Like, what do you do, or what do you think about to like pull yourself back up and get yourself back motivated again? Is that the moment in time where you're might be coming up with these motivational quotes in your head, or like how's that work for you? How do you stay motivated in the bush?
Yeah, yeah, I think you just gotta hold yourself to excellence, in a way. So like my biggest fear, I guess, would be being excuse my French, but being a bitch. It's like I'm not gonna be that, and it's like we all have, quote unquote, the negative thoughts, the bitch
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, whatever you want to call them. But then we decide if we're gonna act on them. Like thoughts are thoughts. Like we have a million coming from every which way, but we decide what ones that we are gonna be. So it's an active decision. It's like take a log, take an inventory of your thoughts and decide what ones you want to act on and you want to keep,
Yeah.
and the ones that you want to have more on, and just focus on those. So I guess the motivational quotes is, I guess sometimes you could even just say they notes to self, just stuff that I'm thinking, and just would throw out there of like if I was talking to someone, this is what I would say to them, or this is what I would say to myself. Just kind of stuff like that. I guess is just trying to, because I like, let's face it, like people have gone up and done like the hunts that I'm doing a bunch of times before me. I'm not special for doing this stuff. Like it can be done. So I want to share what I do, but also and hopefully inspire other people to understand that if they want to do what I want to do, they can do it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not like cut from a different cloth. Anybody can do it. You just gotta believe in yourself and put in the work, and that's whether what I do, starting a business, chasing the goal, marrying the goal of your dream, like whatever it is. It's just like, it comes from a place of believing in yourself, being positive, caring about other people. It's like the whole that there's no a wrong way to live and a right way to live. I'm kind of the older I'm getting, the more I'm kind of like thinking like that's a bunch of bullshit. It's like there is right ways that if you do this, like these thoughts, these courses of action, your life will be better than if you negative. Everyone's always out to get me. My boss is a complete asshole, and it's his fault that I'm not where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's like all of that, like, that type of stuff is gonna do nothing but hurt you. And I would so if it hurts you, I would say that's wrong. So it's about developing the thoughts and the actions of I'm gonna take this on myself. Maybe my boss is an asshole because some people are assholes, but it's not his fault that I'm where I'm at. It's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
How do I maneuver around this person? So it's just
Yeah, that's good.
that.
I like that. I like that you're like trying to push to become better at something. And there shouldn't be any. You shouldn't be blaming anybody but yourself if you can't be in the position you want to be. So yeah, I
Is
like that.
that you got to, because if you give any, if you say it's anybody else's fault,
Yeah.
you're giving them the power. It's their fault. That means that they have control over you. So you just gave them all the power. Well, even if something happened and maybe you couldn't have influenced it, but if you still take that in and be like, yeah, you know what, I could have done something different. I don't know what, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it was my fault. And because of that, then you can be thinking that through, and then maybe next time something like that happens, you can do something slightly different that makes it a better outcome than before. So I think that's where all like the little motivational quotes and stuff comes from. Is just wanting the help, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but just anybody that watch it might hopefully get some value out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Past
I
the
can almost
hunting of it.
guarantee you that if you watch one of Caleb's videos, like you just get fired up to go hunting,
Yeah, do you do it though?
right? And it's funny because you're watching hunts that, I mean, realistically, me and you aren't going to do anytime soon. And if
Yeah.
we do, it's like, quote unquote, once in a lifetime, or it's not like we're doing this every year.
Yeah.
So we're watching hunts that aren't really relatable to us, but it still gets you juiced up and like
Yeah.
just gets you going. And then you're watching you in a downpour butchering something, and you're like, oh man, I slept in yesterday just because it was a little windy or something,
Yeah.
just something stupid. And you're like, man, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It like brings you back to like self accountability. Really is what it is.
It's true.
And just
Every time I watch one of your videos, man, I'm like, should I sell my car and then go to one of those hunts, or what am I supposed to do here?
one thing, I'm glad I ran into you at the sports show in Harrisburg, because one, like, my dream hunt is to hunt sick deer on like Kodiak Island or Fognak Island.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my dream hunt, and I know that's not really a popular one,
Yeah.
but I don't know what it is. I just that's what I want to do. Like, one time in my life, I'm gonna hunt with Caleb at some point. Do you guide in Kodiak or Fognak or Raspberry?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time on Raspberry and Kodiak. I haven't spent a ton of time on Fogneck. I probably have like 4 months total time camping in those two places. Uh yeah, I like both of those places. They're great, and you can definitely make that hunt happen. I think it's I mean, all in, you probably at like $4,000 self guided. So it's not that expensive of a hunt if you budget out a little bit. So I think you can definitely make that happen.
Shit.
You got him thinking
yeah,
now.
no, I just expected that. God damn it. I guess I'm not buying a boat.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So in Alaska, you can do self-guided. You don't need a guide.
Yeah, so for blacktail, caribou, moose, black bear, and I think wolf, you don't need a guide. Dall sheep, bear, like grizzly, brown bear, uh, mountain goat, uh, yeah, those are the ones you need a guide for. So
I would assume it's.
now your success rates go way up if you have a guide.
Oh,
Oh
I'm
Just
yeah,
throwing that out.
I would. I'm not typically like an outfitter or guide guy, but I think if I'm going to Alaska, that's going to be the moment in time where I'm going to be like, you know what, I want a professional with me
Yes, pretty much. So.
because I make bad decisions in the mountains of New York. I can't be
Oh,
doing
no.
that in Alaska. Oh man,
Yeah, it's just all about like don't get yourself in a spot you can't come back. And it's like Alaska's is different than from the 48. You can make questionable choices in the 48 and usually be okay. In Alaska, sometimes it would kill you. Like there was a guy last fall, two guys from like I think they were from Tennessee, and these on the haul road not too far from I mean, I guess it was still a couple 100 miles, but same general area of where I was at. Uh, they got a caribou and they were packing it back, and one of the guys couldn't carry his pack, and so he dropped his pack, and they both walked out, and the other guy that carried his pack went back out to grab the other guy's pack, and they never, like from what I understand, they never found him. So a bear got him and probably ate his ass, which is sad. If
God.
any, yeah, if any of the family hears this, please know, like, my condolences go out to you guys. But it's one of those things that it stinks. He went out, and I don't think he carried his gun back out with him. And because it was only like what like maybe a half mile, quarter of a mile from where they dropped the pack at. But so it only takes one time. So it's just like don't ever get yourself in a place that you can't come
Yeah.
back from. It's like that's why if someone tries, oh, you got to take your gun everywhere. It's like, yeah, dumbass. That's why I won't get ate by a bear.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh yeah, and I'm sure
don't
it's
be monsters. Like, it doesn't take much.
right. I'm sure it's easy to, especially in that guy's situation, to get back to camp and I gotta go get another pack. You know what? This gun weighs 9-10 pounds. I'm tired. I'm just gonna go quick. It's not far away. I'm just gonna go grab that, and next thing you know, you're in a not a good situation.
Yeah. No, it's like I'm gonna take a piss. I'm gonna walk 20 yards from the tent. I don't need my gun.
Oof.
That it
Jeez.
just takes that one time. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
it's this fact that happens.
So
It happens that quick. Or
go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
oh no, I was just gonna say same with like getting in this like stupid steep country that you shouldn't be in. Sometimes you have to get in stupid steep country, but just just pick your points because everything can kill you. So
Absolutely. Now, if somebody was to, all right, before I ask this question, I'm gonna circle back to the sick. Do you call them cicadeer? Or is it black? Do you guys call them blacktail out there?
and both.
Both.
It's kind of same thing.
Um,
Yeah.
for a guy who, and I'm just saying this because I'm interested in it, where would be the best place to go on a self-guided blacktail hunt?
I'll tell you off the video call.
That's awesome.
Smart.
Yeah.
I apologize for putting you in the situation and make to say.
We're cutting this off the podcast.
Yes.
Nobody heard that question.
For people that are listening, there's hunts available on there from outfitters that have phenomenal spots that are really reasonable. And then I'll get back to you on that question if you end up doing a self-guided
Okay,
one.
sounds good. I'll probably forget by the time we get through this conversation because my brain can only handle like 5-minute increments. So you brought up steep terrain and stuff. For a guy who is going out there self-guided, and everybody has a budget, whatever that is, that's on that person. If I was to ask you, if a guy got to dump a majority of his money into any kind of one particular thing, whether it be boots, pack, tent, gun, what would you tell somebody to put a majority of their money in to get like the best of the best if they were limited to that situation?
Yeah, that's tough. because it depends on how much money, because then your priorities would change. Obviously, like a good pair of boots is you need to have that. I'm actually designing a pair of boots with a company. The details that someone's looking at boots, they're pretty good boots. When it comes to like your gear setup, you got to design it around the hunt. So it's like if I'm gonna be packing a heavy moose out, and I go out there with a Walmart backpack, well, that's not gonna work at all. Uh, I don't know. Actually a really tough question, because it's like gear is a really important thing. And let's just use the Sika blacktail hunt, because then it's easier to pick one hunt. On that, if you say you're gonna go in October, you're gonna want to make sure you have warm weather gear, so you need to focus on that. Uh, good socks. The boots you can honestly make a, not you don't have to have a super high end pair of boots for that hunt. You can make you know, a Bass Pro pair walk type of deal. Just make sure you have enough socks to keep your feet warm if your feet get cold. On that, you you don't have to have a $10,000 rifle. You can make a lot of rifles work really well. I would say it's better to get a cheaper rifle and as best as a scope as you can afford. Like don't go and get like the Tasco. Go and try to get like, even if it's a $300 Loophole Freedom. I ran that scope for a long time before I started making some money doing this. So it's like that scope does. I know that $300 is also still a lot of money sometimes. But just try to get something that um is quality. And wherever your budget lands at, um, I'll let you be the judge of quality, but you want a good rifle scope. But then go out and buy 3 times as much ammo. Even if you got to save a little bit of money on the rifle scope, go buy as much ammo as you can and go shoot the shit out of it. Because nothing's gonna like take the place of reps. Do this extremely safely. I'm gonna be beating a dead horse here, so please forgive me, listeners. Forgive me. Make sure your gun's unloaded. Blah blah blah. Safety force. Always point the muzzle in a safe direction. That being said, do aiming drills, dry fire practice. Like that's gonna get you trigger rep. Make sure you understand the fundamentals of shooting, of pulling the trigger to the reel, not slapping it, and then if you can, watching your round impact the target before taking your head out of your scope, like stuff like that, because that's gonna make. Or if you're bow hunting, like everyone knows how to bow hunt, like just make sure you know how to use your equipment, because nothing's gonna um, take the place of reps. And then rain gear, make sure you have good rain gear. Frog togs or shit, they're gonna get you killed.
My dad would be so disappointed.
Oh no, he's a frog dog guy.
Oh yeah, he's like, because they're, like you said, they're cheap. I mean, they're not a high quality piece of apparel.
No, no. The best rain jacket, you got to be careful, because if you're hiking them, it's like hiking in an oven.
Oh yeah.
Is a Helly Hansen 3/4 down piece of rubble. It's a fishing jacket. And that's gonna keep you dry in a big rainstorm. Just don't hike in it very much, because you're gonna sweat your ass off. So
Does it have sit
I
pits?
know that was. Does it have what?
Sit pits?
Pit zips.
Pit zips?
No, so
Pit zips.
any rain jacket that has pit zips is not a rain jacket. It's a poser rain jacket.
Oh,
'Cause that's
Oh shit! I gotta check my rain jacket after this.
I
episode.
just got a fancy ass $300 rain jacket here with pit
yeah.
zips.
Well, it's probably gonna work in the lower 48, but in Alaska, it's like if it's not like heavy rubble, it's not keeping you dry. It's kind of like if you had a condom that had an underzip. Would you trust it?
That is the best. Oh, that's fantastic! I'm so glad you said that.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Oh,
You-
I'm stealing that.
I'm gonna put. You should put that as the title of this episode.
Oh man, that's great.
I was debating not to say it, but I was like, shoot, I just gotta send it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's yeah. Oh man, I like that.
Yeah, man, I got so many things to say about that, but I'm gonna keep
I
it
know,
to myself.
I know.
PG guys, PG. Come on.
We'll save that. Caleb, we have we what we call the after hours shows, which is like, sometimes after we record with a guest or something like that, everybody's around here, and we might start drinking or something like that, and we'll record an episode, and they get wild, like no holds bar. Just say what you want to say, and sometimes it just gets out of control. But we'll keep this one clean. This is not an after hours episode.
We can make it an after hour.
Yeah.
How many bourbons does it take, Caleb, to get you tipsy, man?
Not very. I don't drink that often, so not many. I'm kind of a lightweight.
That's good. It's cheap. When you don't drink, it's cheap. And
It is. Well, that and I noticed like I would just get my energy level wouldn't quite be there if like I got drank too much one day. It'd be like 2 days afterwards before I got the feeling back to normal. I'm like, I'm just gonna only do this every now and then.
right. Just celebratory stuff, small stuff here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like
That's smart. And I guess a guy like you who's spending 55 days in the bush, you can't be, down in Jack Daniels when there's, legitimate predators just kind of roaming around.
yeah, no, it's like you just when you're guiding, especially you got to be switched on. Like your number one job is to keep that person safe. In my personal opinion, I mean, I think some guys don't take it as I don't want to sound like a hot ass because I'm not, but I think that piece of it's got to be taken seriously. If you drink too much and you slept too heavy, and then a bear comes in the camp and you don't hear it too, it's on top of you or someone that you guiding. Like that's
well,
I don't know. I think it's a liability.
Yeah, well, you're doing a job, so you shouldn't be drinking at the job. So
Yeah.
it's good that you don't drink.
Yeah, I'll get fired if I have a beer at work. So yeah, it makes sense. no one's lives are in my hands really at any particular time.
Yeah.
See, but then if I would be the guy that would go have a beer at work because like I don't know.
Right, you should be able to have a beer at work.
Because as soon as someone tells me not to do something, I usually most of the time go do it.
Yeah, Caleb, don't you dare invite me to a moose hunt in Alaska. Don't you dare.
That was clever. Well done, sir. Well done.
Oh man. So how do you stay? We're talking about staying crisp and how do you keep your brain crisp when you're out there for so long? Is there any supplements you take, or is that something that you gain that in the off season by training and keeping your body in shape, which obviously keeps your mind in shape? Are you eating clean? Do you how do you keep your brain how do you keep your focus levels high and just that mental crispness strong?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I don't take anything. I think it's just doing it. Like that sounds almost like an oversimplification, but there's obviously things like don't drink a bunch of alcohol. That's gonna help you stay sharper. Don't like if you guys whoever wants to do it that's listening to this is not against you. You do what you want to do, but I don't think smoking dope is good sometimes. So I think just stay away from that stuff and stay hydrated and yeah, I think that would do it on its own. It's just like it's all about. I don't think there's any like what does that saying? There's no silver bullets in life. There's a million BBs, and it's all those like little small choices that add up. So there's like no secret trick. It's just doing it, each choice at a time.
Yeah. For me personally, I think just being in the best, and I'm speaking for like if you want to go to Alaska or something like that, being in the best shape you possibly can is going to help you probably the most mentally. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just take that for granted. It's like just try to go out, run, do push-ups, whatever. You don't have to do anything extreme. Like just go out there and do a little bit. If you're out of shape, you don't need to be doing a 10-mile run the next day. It's like go walk a half a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
find your baseline and then increase it by 5% each week, and or even 2% each week. In a year and a half, you'll be a freaking animal. It's like it's all about finding that baseline and going. And so that is big. It's just like physical fitness. It's like you need to be strong, not just in hunting but in life. If you can, go out and take jujitsu, take some type of fighting training, and just make sure you're in shape and you're strong. Because then, if someone's acting like a dick, now you be like, hey, quit acting like a dick and actually mean it. Because now, if they want to escalate it to a fight, it's like you already know you're gonna kick their ass. So it's like it gives you a new level of I don't want to say power. It is a new level of power, which is good, because now you can kind of arbitrate some of the dickheads that don't get stood up to. It's like, no, that's not gonna fly.
Oh yeah, there's nothing more I would love to do is just like run into an asshole in the streets and just put him in like some nasty like Kimura or something like that. That would be fantastic. Do you
Slip them in a real naked choke and
time to go night night? Do you watch UFC or anything like that?
I do some, not a ton, but I do some. Yeah.
That's I've been slowly kind of getting into, like, I've always liked UFC or just MMA in general, but I'm starting to dive in a little bit more and appreciate what they're actually doing. And it's been pretty cool to kind of dive into something, because I don't really know anything about mixed martial arts at all. And it's been cool to dig, like, just something new to do, dive into, maybe get into. Like you said, it's great conditioning. It's great for mental stamina, and you're always kind of thinking on the go. So it's a cool little adventure I'm kind of thinking about doing.
Oh, you should totally do it. Like, just go in there, find a good gym, go try out a few of them, whatever one you like. I've been doing the whole training thing for probably, I guess, the last 6 years now. And it's good to know, like, it's not like you're going out looking for fights, because the more you train, the more you realize how much you don't want to fight, because how easy it could not go your way if you happen to fight someone that's well trained, or if somehow this guy gets freaky lucky with a haymaker, even though that's unlikely.
Right.
But at the same time, then you also know your level. Well, if there is someone acting like an idiot, it's like, I feel like you're more likely to be like, hey, like, don't do that. And the way you stand and the way you present yourself when you trained, I think people pick up on that, because like these are the stories, like, from, hey, I'm going out with my buddies, and there's this guy like being like a total dick to all the girls around here. I'll just tell you the stories, like being a dick to all these girls. Hey, I'll kick all your guys' asses, blah blah blah. And like, maybe, or maybe you wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
And then it's like you put him back in his place. It's like, I mean, obviously you're not trying to cold stomp anybody, but it's like, at that, it's like you need to knock it off. And then most of the time, sometimes I think someone would actually nut up and fight and be a fun time, get a little rodeo. But most of the time, it's like that puts those people back and like steps them back, because they're little brats at that point. So it's like, either let the little brat keep acting like a dick, or you're gonna be like, no, this is not gonna fly.
Yeah, that's it. I do have a words of wisdom for anybody listening. If you, for whatever reason, get into a tussle in a bar, at the gas station, whatever, if they have cauliflower ear, they're automatically right. Just agree with them and walk away, because you're gonna get hurt. You're absolutely.
They're shooting for a double.
Yes.
Just know that they got cauliflower ear, shooting for a double. So time the knee well. Time the knee really well.
Yeah, because if you get on the ground, you are done.
Pretty much so.
There's
That's
nothing.
hysterical.
Having a grown 200-pound man on top of you who knows what he's doing, it's not good.
Wait, what are we talking about again?
And this is an after hours.
Oh, come on. That's hysterical. Dude.
Yeah. All right, so back to hunting.
Back to hunting. They took a little detour out of the hunting spot.
I don't know. Have you ever been a part of anybody who's like completed their super slam with you on a hunt, or Grant's sheep slam on anything?
Not like finish it, no. Like usually, no, I don't. I haven't. No, not someone that like, hey, this is the last animal of X, Y, and Z. I've took a lot of people that was what they were doing, and it was a step of it in it. But I don't think I've ever got someone like this is the last one.
I can't imagine that moment, with that person after they've killed their. Was it 28, right? 29, 28, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think
29.
29. Um,
Um,
yeah, North American 29.
I can't imagine that feeling of going because that's not something you can just do because you got money because that's a time thing,
Mm-hmm.
a very longevity type activity or goal.
Yeah, it's a lot of hunts, ton of hunts. Yeah, I think everyone just gets excited on an epic hunt. Whether it's the 29 or another one. I think sometimes like I actually I like the 29. I like that part of it. The only thing that I sometimes wish that people wouldn't get so caught up in like ticking animals off a list, because sometimes I think they lose some of the value of the hunt that's right in front of
Hmm.
them because they're already thinking about X, Y, and Z. So it's like let the hunt unfold and just take like one hunt at a time, and understand that you got to manage your expectations because I've not often, but sometimes you have guys come up and they have like this like idea of what the hunt should be like, and the hunt will be successful. They'll kill a big animal, but that since the idea didn't match what was reality, they almost you could tell they're like a little bit dissatisfied. Well, if they just had like the story I'm talking about was a caribou hunt from a father and a son, and he went up there and he hunted back in the 80s when the 90s or 80s when the caribou hordes were just crazy,
Mm.
like insane, high populations. And then he came back and caribou hunting was good, got a bull. It was a good trip, but the numbers are not the same from the 80s. So instead of waking up and having 2,000 caribou outside your tent, it was like, let's hunt for 10 days and we found 10 caribou and then
Well.
we shot the biggest one. So since it was different because life, like anything, goes in cycles, there's high points and then those points where it drops off
Mm-hmm.
and then rebounds. Since it wasn't at the high point like when he was there last time, you could tell he was like disappointed and like upset with the trip when it was like, hey, you bought that caribou hunt from this outfitter over here. The outfitter delivered on the caribou hunt. You got a bull, but you're upset because you basing expectations from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
With the fluctuation of the herd or the whatever species they're going after, I can see um, you know people falling into that trap of comparing something that they did 10 years ago to, like you said,
Yeah.
something that's going on now.
Yeah, and that's just like I think the North American 29s what got us on this is like just like man like appreciate the hunt for like what's in front of you and what it is, and not like hey this is just a piece feather in the cap, let's move on, type of a deal because I don't know, I think it's pretty cool to be able to go to different places and hunt different animals and know
Mm.
that there's not going to be another hunt that's exactly like that. And if you're trying to move on down a list too fast, I think you're missing some of the neat lessons that can come from them.
Yeah, I can see like you lose that value of why you're there
Yeah.
for versus just trying to put a check in a box. I think unfortunately I think that's a problem for whitetail hunting out here because guys, you're talking to your buddies, you kill, whatever, you go through the season, you have a good buck, you kill a good buck, and it seems like nobody really cares about your story, quote unquote,
Yeah.
unless it's a giant buck or it's some ridiculous, back country,
Mm-hmm.
backwoods story or something like that, or it's like a 6-year hunt.
Yeah.
Like it's always like everyone's just trying to out story themselves
Yeah.
or each other, versus like you said, just taking a step back and enjoying that particular hunt for what it is, and the animal deserves that too.
Yeah, and it's like if like obviously whoever's listening to this do what they want to do, but if the friend group you're in is just all about trying to tell like the bigger story than you are, probably start trying to get a different friend group, because those people are just gonna like pull it out. Like if you're on someone that's always trying to take attention
Mm-hmm.
instead of give attention, because it's just like it's like any business deal. It needs to be a win-win. If it's a win-lose, then the deal is gonna suck for someone, and then they're not gonna want to do business again. So if you're in a friendship, it needs to be a win-win. So sometimes your friend might want to tell you a story that maybe you just not happen to be that interested in that moment. But you sitting there drinking 2 beers with them, well, listen to it, and be engaged and actually like pay attention because he's your friend. And if he doesn't do the same thing back to you, then maybe it's like he doesn't care that much. It's
Yeah.
time to find someone that actually does. In my mind,
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it, anyways.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to look at it for sure. For sure. How old are you, Caleb?
25.
25. If you were to look back at your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself, or what would you change?
I don't think I would change anything. Um, I made a lot of mistakes, but I think those like mistakes and failures are. I think you learn a lot from those, so I wouldn't change a thing. Uh, on what I would tell that person would be to don't be impatient and trust your gut. Um, like I guess the biggest where I'm going with that, the biggest I guess you could say mistakes have come from not trusting your gut and reading on somebody. So like there's a saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover," which I agree with. But I've kind of added on to it, but judge it by its first page. Um, and that's probably a mixture of what I would add to that. Is that's what I would tell them: is don't judge a book by its cover, but judge it by its first page. Because it's just most of the time, if the first page is not any good, the book's not gonna be any good. So I think I would. That's something I've learned quickly. It's taken. I've learned recently that's taken me way too long to learn. So I think I'd probably pass that along to him.
That's great. I love that. Absolutely love that. Great answer. Being you're a guy who takes most guys on their dream hunt,
Yeah.
what would be your dream hunt, Caleb?
Um, I don't. Uh, I don't know. I'm gonna do them all. Uh, I'm kind of fascinated with. I have a friend that's an outfitter in Patagonia, and they chase down mountain lions like on horseback up in the mountains. So I'm gonna do that in the next couple of years, and that's kind of got me pretty excited.
Sounds
Running
exciting.
around thinking, yeah. So it's like like I would have like that's just the one that gets me most excited that's coming up here. Hopefully here pretty soon. I don't get too fixated of like this is the animal I have to kill. If I was gonna pick one, just because I can't do it, would be a tiger. Um, you can't hunt tigers anywhere legally.
Even
So
in
it's like
Texas?
I guess. Oh, I guess yeah. Or I should say in the wild. uh, so yeah. I think. Have you seen those like swamp tigers that eat people? I forget where it's at. I
Swamp
think it's like in
tigers.
India.
Like
Holy
Indonesia?
shit.
Indonesia, maybe?
Something like that. They live in the swamp, and there's the people that live along this river and by the swamp, and they will, eat the people sometimes.
That's crazy.
The man-eating tiger. If you type in man-eating tiger, it should pop up. But I think it would be pretty fun to go and chase some of those things
Mm.
if they've gone on a killing spree and killing a bunch of people, to go and like send me in, coach. I'm gonna take them out. I think
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
I'm gonna look it up right now and see where the hell is this place.
So it sounds like you just like chasing around like potentially the most dangerous animals in the world.
Yeah, it's fun because it's like it's just it's a adrenaline rush, and it's
Mm.
pretty good. Another one would be like uh human trafficker, so that would be a pretty good bucket list.
That's great.
God damn it, Caleb. Come on, man.
Oh man, if I could help you in any way, I would help you get to that.
This turned into
get that
a
goal.
real weird one. That's hilarious, dude.
Oh shit.
That's funny. My dad was really into hunting when he was younger. And I think he still is, but when he was a lot younger, he was into it. He liked to read a lot of books about it. There's a guy, if I'm not mistaken, he's from Pennsylvania. His name is Sasha Simo. I think it's Siemel, I think is the last name. And this is like back in the 1940s and 50s, I think. He went to Brazil because he read that there is a tribe of natives in Brazil who hunt jaguars with a spear. So he traveled to Brazil to do this and learn it. And I think there's like a video of him hunting a jaguar with a spear. And it's insane to see, to even fathom this idea of just like, yeah, let me just go to the Amazon jungle, just a spear, nothing else, and let me just hunt this cat. I think that's something that you will be into, Caleb, now that you said.
Oh yeah.
Man,
I'm in.
I'm gonna see if I find the video, and I'm gonna send it to you on Instagram so you can. He has a book called I think it's called Tigreiro, which is tiger in Portuguese, if I'm not mistaken, or tiger, something like that. I'm gonna look it up. But it's such an interesting story.
I'm gonna try to get in contact with that tribe sometime because that sounds like a good.
He's all
good
fired
trip.
up now.
He's pumped. I'm shaping my spear right now. That's hysterical, man. Oh, that's good. That's good, man. I like that answer. But yeah. Oh my God, I'm gonna see if I find that. I can't remember what the name of the book is. Maybe you get a kick out of it.
Is the book in Portuguese?
No, it's because it's in English. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's from Pennsylvania, somewhere up here.
Makes sense.
Some crazy Dutch guy. Montgomery
awesome.
County, Pennsylvania. I don't even know where that is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if you've ever been to Pennsylvania, but I met you in Pennsylvania. That was a stupid question. Did you get a chance to like go around and do anything while you're in PA, or were you just at the show the whole time, pretty much?
So I've actually been in Pennsylvania a decent bit. Spent a little bit of time around Somerset, Pennsylvania, when I was a kid, and then my brother doesn't live too far from Harrisburg, about an hour.
Oh, okay.
Hour outside of there. Brother-in-law. So yeah, Pennsylvania is a great state. A lot of really good hunters from up there. Good people, and yeah, it's just the mountains are fun. I like the mountains out there as well.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't think of like the mountains, but you guys, like, Arkansas is the same way. Like, you gotta watch your guys' mountains because you'll get going and you'll get in those leaves and you'll just start sliding.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I actually kind of like it because it's like you like leaf shuffling. So like you're going down a mountain, it's like sliding on the leaves. I'm like, this is awesome.
Oh yeah, when it like in October when if you get a good windstorm and it knocks down all the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Rainy leaves are the fuck. Well, at least you can spot and stock when it's rainy.
Yeah.
You know, that's my only spot and stocks here.
When it's not.
Yeah. So Dorito bag.
Oh, it's terrible.
It is terrible. It is terrible.
The worst is if you get like a hard frost on top of those leaves. Oh.
Yeah, it is the worst. Well, last year we have this story that we keep bringing.
Yes.
It's called the BTS mountain story. And me and Dan went hunting to this mountain in New York, and we're like, okay, let's see if we can make it. It was opening week of rifle in New York, and we decided to go. And for some reason that week, the lowest was 16 and the highest was 19. And the week, like a couple days before, it rained, and the entire mountain was just frost. We couldn't walk without making. Like, I mean, it was almost impossible to hunt because you couldn't breathe because it will crinkle. It will make a sound.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. Anyways, I'm complaining about this, and this guy is hunting bears in Alaska.
See, this is what I mean. You watch one of his videos and you're like, oh, this isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good memory because it's like, can you imagine if, like, how many people didn't go out that day, and now would probably never know what it's like to be out there after it
Yeah.
rained when it's super cold and everything's crinkling. Like,
Oh, we had a
like
blast. We had a miserable
there's
blast, what they call.
Is that type 2 fun?
Yeah, type 2 fun.
well, there's a correlation to how bad it sucked in the moment with a buddy of how good of a memory it is.
Oh, it is.
It's like, no one's ever said, "Yeah, man, you know how great it was when we went through that drive-through and had the air conditioning on." It's like, no, it's like, remember when we were cold, wet, and it sucked? Yeah, that was awesome. It's
Yeah,
like, that's
no,
how
it is
goes.
true.
Yeah, no. I mean, we've never told a story 17 times about us sitting on the couch watching football.
No, never.
But, the handful of days we were out there freezing our asses off.
Anybody that listens to this podcast is enough.
Yeah, they
it's
shut it off.
sick
Yeah.
and tired of BTS Mountain.
Well, hopefully this year it goes well. That's like our big adventure hunt. Well, we pack in every like 4 or 5 miles,
Yeah.
and just kind of try and live out there for like the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay, I'm kind of hoping like it gets super cold again and you kill a big buck, and it's like you had to like cut the buck open and like stick your hands in
To
it
warm up.
'cause it's so cold you had to pull
It's
them
too
up somehow.
cold.
So-
We're both sleeping inside the deer.
Yeah. You're like, I had to shoot a doe too, so we had enough room. We just
Just needed the heat, the body heat. Oh man, we if Antonio's from Venezuela, so his blood just doesn't work well in
Yeah.
those northern conditions.
No, it doesn't.
nope. He's like, it's 60. It's like somebody's like putting that wood stove on.
Yeah, that's a, well. My problem mainly is not the cold, because I like the cold and I can work around the cold. It's when I go to sleep, my body, I sleep cold because I guess I'm used to like sleeping in hot weather. So I'm like, my body's like, oh, let's just stay cool, and well, that doesn't work when it's up here in in like the teens.
No.
I'm like covering in everything that I can possibly have. Every piece of clothes is on me, and I'm like, damn, I'm freezing still.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I worked at this like nursery, like when I was 15, 16, and I worked with some Guatemalan guys, and I loved it because it would be cold in the wintertime, and they would start like there was a wood stove, like a big one, and they would spend the whole day of work just like stalking that wood stove, and like, so it felt like a sauna in that place. Woo!
Wonderful. Yeah, my problem is the sleep, man. That's my only problem. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, we need to get you like a negative 40 sleeping bag.
Hey, man, I'll still be cold, man. I'm telling you.
So he had what was your sleeping setup and you're still cold?
So I had a 30-degree quilt and a 15-degree sleeping bag. I had two on top of me, and I had my whole full winter puffy hunting jacket, and I had puffy pants, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm freezing still. It was bad.
Have you seen the battery heated like sleeping bag liners?
Oh, I do, but I didn't want to carry a battery all the way up that mountain, man. I don't want to get. We're thinking about buying those hot teepee tents for the people use for hunting. Maybe that will work. I don't know. I'll find a way.
Yeah, I haven't had like I don't like that bad. It's just hard to keep them warm. Warm. Have you tried the hot hands? Like throwing hot hands in your sleeping bag?
Yeah, we tried. The last thing that we tried that worked fabulous was the Nalgene bottles with boiling water on it. And then you put it in between.
That's good.
Then you put it in between your legs where your main arteries are, so that blood that goes through the arteries is always warm, so it keeps you warm for a long time. So that's one thing that worked well.
How long did the water stay hot?
Oh, for like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That
I had to
worked
take
good
mine
then.
out because it
Yeah.
was too hot. I was sweating too bad with the Nalgene bottle in mine.
Yeah, so you grab the regular Nalgene bottle. Apparently, it can handle boiling water. So we boil some water, and then I boiled it like maybe like 30, 45 minutes before I went inside to sleep. And then I grabbed it and I put it inside my sleeping bag. So when I got inside my sleeping bag, it was already warm. And because I had two, a 30 and a 15 on it, it was insulating that bottle like nothing. So that water bottle lasted a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. I read that somewhere. I don't know where I saw it, and I was just like, "Well, I'm gonna try." I remember I put it inside of a sock, and then I put it inside the sleeping bag so it wouldn't burn the sleeping bag. You know how that
Like
material,
melt that
yeah,
material,
yeah, yeah,
Yep. No, absolutely. That was good thinking.
yeah. So it worked. I was nice and toasty for like like 4 or 5 hours of the night, but then I got chilly and stuff again. But it's okay.
Yeah, the biggest battle we got with that whole trip. It seems like every time you go on a trip, there's always like one thing that you're just constantly struggling with.
Yeah.
And this one was water. Like trying to keep water from freezing was
It was a mess.
so difficult because it was so cold. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, that's the worst when you wake up and everything you have is frozen,
Oh,
and then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
crap. The streams are frozen too, so it's like you got to go try to chip your way down,
yeah.
to get into it.
And then trying to boil water takes forever. It takes like 3 times the regular amount.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Mhm.
it was one. I think the worst for me is the shoes. Those
Putting
shoes
on
are
frozen boots?
Frozen
Oh,
boots.
it's miserable.
Oh no! Early in the morning, you're like, oh. Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
that bitch voice comes out inside of you. Like, you should have been at home. What are
Yeah.
you doing? Your wife is there. Your kid's there. Oh, nice coffee.
And
And you're
you
like,
just gotta
no.
tell yourself, I like cold boots.
Yeah.
Let me know your cold boots.
Yeah, you go, no, I don't want that. I
Yeah,
don't want that delicious comfort.
Next year when you wake up, I want you to say, "I can't wait to put my feet in these boots."
Yeah.
You're gonna
Uh,
wake up and you come here, boots. Come here.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. The wood was all the wood that we got was
Frozen.
soaking
Yeah,
wood,
soaking
and
or frozen.
it was a pain in the ass to turn it on. Oh, what a wonderful time. We enjoyed.
But you know what we didn't have to deal with? Grizzly bears.
Yeah. Oh, amen. We had black bears, but that doesn't
Yeah,
count.
they were denned up.
Hey, those cuddle pretty well. So
Those are really warm inside.
For how's it work for when you're out guiding? Do you guys set up like a big tent and you and your client stay in the same tent, or does it the client brings their own shit and you have your own shit and you just kind of do your guys' own thing and then kind of meet up or whatever? Like how's that work?
yeah, so most of the time, unless of like some crazy reason why, we have both tents, and then the client would show up and he gets his own tent and I get my own tent, but it's provided for him. It got like sometimes you would like stay in the same tent with the client, but it's just easier to have your own space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so because some guys snore like a son of a gun, so it's just like separate that out a little bit. You go 20 yards that way, I'll go 20 yards this way. If a bear comes and tries to get you in the night, just scream, I'll hear you. I'll come save you.
I hear you.
Just don't shoot to the east where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like don't ever shoot from inside your tent unless like the bear's like trying to lick your nuggets or something like that. Like just
That's funny stuff, man.
don't shoot at noise.
That's funny.
Have you ever been woken up by a bear like fucking around with your tent in the morning, like at night, or when you're sleeping, I should say?
Not like I sleep really light, so it's kind of weird because you will start like you can tell the difference between noises. So I've always been able to hear a bear coming in the camp before it ever gets like to the tent and stuff like that. As of now, knock on wood, I never like realized how like well like my body this naturally like hears the noise differently. That sounds weird, but like too, I had camera guys, and every now and then I have the camera guy like just stay in the same tent because for like he doesn't have his own tent. And it's like carrying another tent out on the mountain. Now I'm at the place where it's like, cameraman, have your own tent. I'm not responsible for me. If you get 8, you get 8. Because I want my own personal space. It's like, you go right over there. So, I had the one camera guy. He was in the tent. He would wake up. What was that noise? I was like, I don't know, it was a squirrel or something. Go back to sleep. What? And he would wake up. What was that noise? I was like, I don't know, it was something. Go back to sleep. And then I would wake up from like nothing, because I could feel it was a bear. Like when the bear makes a noise, it just it has a when you go, and you can feel it. It's not even like it's that loud. You can just feel it if you know what you I guess what it is. And then I would like wake up and like this was later in the year on actually Raspberry Island, and I would wake up and then I would wake him up and he's like, what? I'm like, there's a bear out there. He's like, what? So like all the other times of like noises would wake him up, and so it was just funny to see like that on how the different noises respond. People responded to different noises based on their experience, because they actually like they know what the noise is. So like you just block it out subconscious if it's like a squirrel running around or if it's a stick. But you've listened to enough bears come in the camp, you just like, oh, that's what that is, and you get up and deal with it. So
Experience, really. Yeah, that's about it. That's the only way you're gonna learn that.
Yeah, I get pissed in the middle of the night too. Like, you son of a bitch, you waking me up in the middle of the night. I get mad. Like, we were in Kodiak 2 years ago. This is on Kodiak Island, and I'm sleeping, and we have COVID, right? Like, the whole tent's got COVID. Like,
oh my God!
And it's like 6 degrees. This is late in the season. It's cold. We're deer hunting, and I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden I hear like 3 bouncy balls coming through camp. I'm like, fuck. I wake up and I'm like, Tyler's by the door. I'm like, Tyler, this is another guide, and then we had the cameraman. I'm like, freaking like foxes or something's out there. So he's like, okay. So he gets out his headlamp. He's like, I think they might be foxes. I'm like, yeah, maybe. They sounded kind of like heavy though. And then all of a sudden we go, oh, it was the mama bear.
Oh
shit.
no!
So we had the cubs on one side of the camp, and the mama bear was on the other side of the camp, and we out there yelling, cussing, and it's like she bluff charges us and then like veils off at the last minute, so we didn't shoot her. But I was like, Dad, gummit, because like we were all sick with COVID. We were like, oh, dealing with a bear at like 6 degrees at night, and yeah, I was like, this doesn't suck. This is awesome. Let's go back to bed.
Oh my God! How do you deal with COVID in those mountains? I would have been like, I'm not moving, or I don't know.
I guess he doesn't have a choice. It's not like you can just leave.
I guess. When I had COVID, I was like, I couldn't even go up my stairs because I was so fatigued. I don't know.
Yeah, it sucks. It hit me hard because like I'll go like hunting when I'm sick, like no problem. But that COVID stuff laid me out for like 2 days. I was like,
God.
We just all like sat like in our tent and
so
didn't move.
Who brought the COVID? Because it wasn't the bears.
No, it was clients. So they came through. They hunted. They went on. A few of them were talking about how they felt a little bit funny. And then when they flew back, they actually got sick, or something. I don't remember exactly. I just know one of the guys said he didn't feel that good, and then we were like, oh boy. So we got some good COVID from the clients.
Damn clients.
And then we gave it to the bear, and then that's what started the bear epidemic on Kodiak.
I like how we have a story about 19 degrees and being sorry for ourselves because our boots are frozen. And Caleb goes, "Hold my beer."
Hold my beer. 6 degrees.
How about 6 degrees?
COVID between a mama bear
on Kodiak.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah, and then
nice one up, buddy.
Story, well, it's the dang like water being frozen everywhere. Like we were out of water too, so we had to walk way down to go find a place where we could chip through the ice deep enough to get some more water. And I was like, "This, what were we
my
thinking?"
What a story that's going to be for you to tell for the next ever years.
Yeah, and then like 6 days later, I ended up like cutting my hand like open to the bone, and my buddy lives on Raspberry, and he's a houndsman from Utah. So I messaged him like, "Hey, dude, do you have your dog stitching stuff?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Can you come over here so he gets in his boat and crosses
Oh
the
Lord.
straight like 2 rows pass?" So I got a video of it actually. Here I am middle of the night. I don't have COVID anymore, thank goodness. Like I feel back to normal, but with my hand like this gushing blood, and he's sitting there. He's got like the alcohol stuff, and he doesn't have anything. So the camera guy is filming me, and this guy's dumping alcohol on my like I could see my bones, like it was deep,
Oh,
and he's got his like little scrubby scrub in it, and I wanted to scream so bad, so I just started singing like Amarillo by Morning. I'm like Amarillo by Morning. So then he went through and like stitched my hand up. So here I am, like I got a bunch of like staples, I guess staple, not stitch. So he had a staple gun, and he's just sitting there staple, and I'm watching him like,
Lord.
Good Lord.
What a fun time that was.
What was that? Was that a successful hunt?
Yeah, we got a blacktail.
Nice, nice. At least it was successful.
It was good.
Yeah, at least it was
Yeah.
successful.
And then it keeps going too, because then I went to the doctor in Anchorage to have him pull the staples out. A friend of mine, phenomenal human, but he doesn't. I guess he didn't do like staples or stuff like that. He was like, "Yeah, I got the tool for it." Like, okay, cool. And on a staple puller, the way the tool works is it's got like two teeth, like balls on one side and then one, and the two are supposed to be on top, and I didn't know this at the time, and the one's supposed to be on the bottom because it makes it lift up. Well, this guy didn't know this either, or didn't remember it, so he flipped it upside. So then when he went to pull the staples, it actually made it fish hook into my hand again, and he did that on two of them. And then he's like trying to pull them out. I'm like, "No, stop! I don't think this is how it works." So then I ended up saying, "Hey, do you have wire cutters?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Do you have like toenail clippers?" So I ended up just like cutting those into little pieces and
Just
pulling
pull them
all
out.
the staples off.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Yeah, I
All
was
right,
like,
I'm not complaining about
"This is that
BTS
work."
anymore.
Yep. No more complaints here.
Yeah, that's a great story, man. That's insane. I'm gonna pull my own staples out because this doctor don't know how to use the staple remover.
Yeah, and then before that, like how we ended up deer hunting instead of we were supposed to go mountain goat hunting, is the ocean bay froze because where we were gonna go in to go goat hunting, we couldn't break the ice to get through the land to go on that mountain goat hunt.
Wonderful.
What?
So
I'm assuming that's saltwater, right?
yeah, it's salt water, but it's there's like streams dumping into the bay. It's you can go look it up. It's Port Lions. If you go look up Port Lions, and the bay is gonna wrap around and go back into the inlet a little bit more. That's where we were gonna go hunting at, but that whole bay was froze out honestly about
Jesus.
a mile, I would say. And we were busting the ice for a while, but then it just kept getting thicker and thicker. I was
That's
like,
crazy.
Holy shit.
this is stupid. Time to get to the back of the bay and try to get back out. It's gonna be back frozen on top of us. So like, screw this.
Yeah, that's. I mean, how cold? Obviously, 6 degrees will freeze
Yeah.
saltwater at that point in time. Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's just freezing the surface because like the fresh water, I guess, floats to the top, or I guess you would say.
Oh yes.
Um,
Okay. Makes sense.
yeah, so it's the fresh water freezing on top before it dilutes. I think would be how you would explain it. So maybe someone fact check me on that because I really don't know. I just know there's a bunch of ice.
Hey, you sound confident, so we'll roll with
Yeah,
it.
well, he knows what he's talking about, guys.
Yeah.
It was just icy and we were busting it. So whatever causes it, someone fact check me.
Yeah.
Make us all smarter because I don't know.
Yeah. Right. We'll do like a housekeeping at the beginning of the next episode on all the shit we got wrong on the previous episode.
And if I'm right, send me a cupcake.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's right.
No.
So at the end of pretty much every episode, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, Caleb. And I really appreciate you taking the time on a Friday night to bullshit
Yeah.
with us on this. Um, we try to wrap everything into cooking. We're big in wild game cooking. So, what would be your go-to wild game meal?
Yeah, so I really like a Dall sheep shepherd's pie. Or really you can insert whatever meat. So you take your favorite meat, you have it ground up, you cook it in. You can add a little bit of bacon if you want to or not. And then you're gonna make gravy with that, and you're gonna take that meat and you're gonna put the green beans and you're gonna lay the green beans down, and then you're gonna take that meat, lay the meat down, and you're gonna take that gravy and pour that gravy over the meat into the green beans, and then you're gonna take like Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, and then like put butter in them, like make them all good, and you're gonna spread that on top of that, and then you're gonna put it in the oven and bake it at 350 for like 30 minutes, and that's pretty good. That's probably my favorite.
Jesus.
That sounds phenomenal.
Write it
Oh, it's
down.
so good.
Yeah.
Is Dall sheep your favorite?
It's called shepherd's pie. I do like Dall sheep quite a bit.
What's the taste of Dall sheep? Does it have like a distinct taste? You know how when you eat like lamb, you're like, oh, I'm eating lamb. Does Dall sheep is the same thing or not really?
Yeah, kind of. It's somewhat like lamb ish. Somewhat like not exactly by any
Mm-hmm.
means, but it's a little bit sweeter meat. You have a hint of gaminess, but not a ton. Um, it's pretty good. It's leaner than normal lamb. Uh, I probably like it the best because it's the hardest to get and it tastes real good, and
Mm.
um I could only imagine what a ewe tastes like because an old ram tastes pretty dang good. So
Yeah. Oh man.
That's true. And how old are those rams that you're killing? They're pretty damn old, aren't they?
yeah, so an old ram, is like 12, 13. Right now, I think the oldest ram ever, which some people debate if it's 18 or not. So that's like extremely old. So the rams typically I try to kill are 10 and up.
Hmm.
Uh, so like big rams, yeah. Um, Typically 12-year olds is a really old ram, and you don't see a ton past that. So
Wow.
Hmm.
That's.
yeah, I
I
like I like hunting. Go ahead.
no. Go you go ahead.
Oh, just in hunting in general, what I try to like it's different for whitetail, so don't whitetail guys don't think I'm talking to you, but especially in sheep hunting, always try to take the oldest animal, because like that's the one that's the end of its life cycle, so that's
Yeah.
going to be the best for that hordes. Because if you have a band of rams, right, and you have an 8-year-old, you have a 12-year-old, and then maybe you have a 6 or a 7, and then you can count them down from there. Uh, if you shoot that 8-year-old because maybe he's bigger in like inches, like he's gonna score better because he's just like a freaking stud and he's not boomed off at all. Like all cool and dandy, like yeah, you shot the bigger, like the bigger ram that's gonna measure the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
But then that 12-year-old might die off that next year, and now you leaving that band of rams to be led by a 7 or a 6-year-old, which won't have as much experience as that
Mm-hmm.
8-year-old would be. So then you kind of fucking the whole band of rams because like that the oldest ram is typically the lead ram, and he's basing on where he takes those sheep in the wintertime
Wow.
based on what he's learned in the past. So it's like you kind of gotta like know that and just
Oh, that's good.
understand that.
Yeah. That's a good. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good point that you
Yeah.
that you think about it that way. But again, there's a lot of people that don't care about your story unless your story has a humongous, big scoring animal at the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
which sucks nowadays because Instagram, when social media made that, the norm. Even though
Yeah. And that's
even though
what
he's shooting.
Yeah, and that's where like guys like me and you've got to start telling that a story. It's like oh, really? You shot the 8-year-old instead of the 12-year-old, and then like
Yeah.
explaining to them why. And it's kind
Yeah.
of like what I tell to my clients. It's like what the guys that come hunting. It's like that's cool, but
Yeah.
anybody that actually knows is gonna know. I
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like
It's
anybody
a
that
good point.
actually the people that matter are gonna know that you made the wrong call on that.
Yep.
And that's, I guess that would be a good way to put it, like to kind of push people to stop just shooting for the inches and actually shooting for the what's best for that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
particular group of animals, because I want to keep hunting them. I want my grandkids to hunt them.
Yeah.
So we gotta like think above. Oh, did we shoot all the big animals out there?
Mm.
Did we shoot the right animals, the old ones out of there?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Especially with sheep too, because they're pretty prone to getting disease, right? And you can have some pretty serious die-offs.
Yeah, what usually gets the sheep is like winter kills. So if you have a real hard winter, and then what gets them the worst is if like it warms up and then it freezes real hard, and then it creates a crust of ice on that layer of like snow, where
Mm.
they can't bust through and get their feed.
Oh,
If
okay.
it's just snow, usually they can kick through and still get to the feed. But if it's icy, like real bad ice, they can't get down to it, and that's what gets a lot of sheep.
Ah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I love rams. My 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 grandfather, who I was very close to, me and him used to watch. Our favorite thing to watch back in the '90s was Nat Geo's Bighorn Rams or Dall Rams, and that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see a ram, it immediately reminds me of my grandfather. It's insane how it was embedded in my brain that is one of my dream hunts, a bighorn ram, just because it will be something that I did with my grandfather, but just on TV, but in real life. But I can't imagine
Yeah.
what is. I seen them in person because I was in Yellowstone, but it's not the same as like seeing them like if you go on a hunt or like you're on a peak of a mountain or something. There's something about those animals that I don't know. I'm in love with those things.
Yeah. You should definitely, yeah, make it happen, because it's like that's the bookend, right?
Yeah,
That's closing that chapter out. And like having another memory with your grandfather.
yeah,
Even after he's passed, in a way.
yeah. Well, do me a favor. Don't ever take me to a bighorn ram, Caleb.
There it is.
Just so you don't have to. Yeah, don't worry about it.
You got this.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
All right, buddy. Let's we'll wrap it up on that that little story there. I appreciate you coming on, Caleb. You want to tell everybody where they can get a hold of you and just put in another plug for your Outfitter.Services?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to go to Outfitter.Services, create an account, you can check out. We have a ton of hunts on there. We're going to continue to get new hunts on there. Go in, create an account, build your bucket list, and then we're going to come out with more tools that help everyone find the hunts slash build the tools to help them financially be able to go on them. And then if you want to look me up and see kind of the stuff I got going on, feel free to do so. It's you'll find me with my name, Caleb with a C, and then Stillians is STILLIANS.
That's awesome, man. Hey, thanks again for coming on. You guys know what to do. Satisfy that craving and be wild.